Before a lawsuit can settle scores, sometimes it exposes more than just legal claims. It shows public perception, power, and how hip-hop warps truth in art. Drake versus Universal Music Group is one of those moments. It's not just a case of a rapper suing his label, it's a story about reputation, rap battles, free speech, and how lyrics can both wound and defend. This is what went down when Drake lost his lawsuit over Not Like Us. It began with one of the fiercest beefs in recent rap history. Drake and Kendrick Lamar going back and forth, trading bars, trash talk, and personal jabs. In May 2024, Lamar dropped Not Like Us, a diss track that rocked the charts. It didn't just stir the streets, it soared commercially, hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, won major awards, and expanded beyond just rap listeners. But the lyrics were sharp, raw, and at times controversial. Among the strongest lines were ones accusing Drake of being a certified pedophile and portraying him in a way that many felt was false, hurtful, and dangerous. Drake responded not with another song, at least not immediately, but with legal action. In January 2025, he filed a defamation lawsuit against his own label, Universal Music Group, claiming that UMG published and promoted Not Like Us in a way that put his reputation in danger. He alleged that UMG had approved, published, and launched campaigns to make the song go viral, inflated streaming through bots or pay-for-play schemes, and even claimed the promotion led to real-world harm. Threats, danger at his home in Toronto, even a shooting of a security guard. He said their profit came at the cost of his safety, reputation, and peace of mind. UMG pushed back hard. Their lawyers quickly filed motions to dismiss, saying Drake's claims were legally baseless. They argued the lyrics in a diss track, especially in the context of a rap beef, are protected speech. The label said the accusations in Not Like Us were rhetorical hyperbole and opinion, not factual statements that a listener would believe literally. UMG's legal documents also turned the claim against Drake, saying he had willingly participated in the rap feud, throwing out bold lines himself, and thus couldn't claim harm from speech that he helped fuel. One line from UMG's motion said, "Plaintiff lost a rap battle that he provoked." They claimed Drake suing over it was him trying to salve his wounds. Drake's team tried to strengthen the case. They filed an amended version of the lawsuit, added allegations about harmful outcomes, cited effects of Kendrick's performance at big events like the Super Bowl halftime show, where people saw him deliver those lyrics, and said public perception shifted even more after those moments. The lawsuit claimed that UMG, by promoting the track, had amplified false and damaging statements made in Lamar's song. But legal matters move slowly, and context matters immensely. UMG replied that diss tracks have a tradition of exaggeration, of conflict, of metaphor. They pointed out that artists have long used provocative song lyrics, and that part of what makes hip-hop culture what it is. The label insisted that if Drake allowed similar speech from Lamar, or even used provocative lyrics himself, then the question becomes, can such artistic expression be treated as defamation? They argued that in U.S. law, for something to be defamatory, it must assert a false statement of fact, not just opinion, not a metaphor, not part of battle rap where hyperbole is expected. They also argued Drake could not show that UMG acted with malice in the legal sense required for defamation by public figure standards. Months of legal filings, discovery, motions. UMG moved to dismiss. Drake's team fought to keep the case alive, tried to get documents, evidence of streaming numbers, of promotional strategies, of damages. But the central question remained. Would a reasonable listener interpret the lyrics in Not Like Us as factual claims or as insults in the tradition of rap battles? Then came the ruling. In October 2025, a federal judge, Jeanette A. Vargas, dismissed the lawsuit. The judge ruled that the allegedly defamatory statements in Not Like Us are non-actionable opinion. In the judge's view, given the general context of a rap beef, the history of discourse between the two artists, the audience expectations, no reasonable listener would interpret the lyrics as making factual claims that could be proven or disproven in court. The accusations, even severe ones, were part of lyrical hyperbole, not statements of verifiable fact. That means Drake's case was thrown out. He lost the lawsuit, legally speaking. The defamation claims dismissed, no damages awarded. UMG was not held liable for promoting the track. The court held that the law protects this kind of expression under freedom of speech, especially when it's art, when it's provocative, when it's part of the genre's norms. So what does this loss mean? First, for Drake, it's a hit to his reputation, but not just the label of loss in court. Publicly, it reinforces the idea that rap battles aren't just lyrical feuds, they can have real legal implications, but often the law gives a lot of leeway for artists. It also underlines the line between what you can say in art versus what you can claim in court. For fans, it sparks debate. Where do you draw the line between artistic expression and hate speech or defamation? How responsible is an artist or their label for the impact of lyrics beyond the studio? Second, for record labels and artists, this ruling serves as precedent. It suggests that labels promoting provocative or controversial songs may have some legal protection, especially when the content is clearly lyrical, hyperbole. It means lawsuits over lyrics are uphill battles, especially when courts are asked to evaluate them through the lens of genre norms and listener expectations. It could dissuade future cases or shape how artists think about their own diss tracks, how aggressively they push narrative or metaphor, or how they handle controversial allegations in lyrics. Third, culturally, this moment amplifies conversations about reputation, social media, how lyrics spread beyond intended meaning, how listeners interpret them, how visuals, performances, events like the Super Bowl amplify perception. Even if a court says something is hyperbole, a lyric can still shape impression, rumors, memes. Blink and communities pick up things literally, even if they were never meant that way. So losing in court doesn't always mean losing in the court of public opinion. Finally, the loss confirms that freedom of expression, especially in rap, especially in diss tracks, is strongly protected under current U.S. defamation law. Cases like this remind artists that lyrics, even harsh ones, are treated differently than statements in journalism or public statements outside music. And that, legally, unless something rises above metaphor and opinion, and unless harm can be clearly shown and tied to factual misstatements, courts will often side with artistic freedom. Drake's lawsuit over Not Like Us may be over for now, but the impact remains. His loss, while legal, doesn't erase the song. Not Like Us continues to perform well commercially, still streams, still wins awards. The feud continues in culture. The rumor mills remain. The reactions, memes, commentary keep going. Drake will likely appeal or press forward with parts of his claims in other ways. But the ruling stands. He lost somewhat publicly. This case, a superstar suing his label over the consequences of lyrics, will be studied. In law school, in music culture, in conversations about the boundaries of creative expression. And Drake, like many, will need to reconcile this defeat with his reputation, his artistry, and how he proceeds. If you felt something listening to this story, if you think art should push limits but also be accountable, do this. Hit that like, subscribe if you want more deep dives into rap, law, culture, and keep watching how these stories unfold. Because this isn't just a legal case, it's another chapter in hip-hop's ongoing remix of freedom, responsibility, and public voice.